Exactly. This okay. So this next topic is kind of like off the boozy situation because, like we done said, there was people that was for it, there was people who was headed, and I said this is going to spark many conversations in the black community that we probably need to have a conversation for. Now, one of these conversations, what I was talking about is, and I wanted to bring this to father, the woman in this Facebook comment. I don't know if you've seen it a lot. It was like y'all, I can't remember. I'm paraphrasing one of it, but she was basically just like, we accept pedophilia more than we accept as black. I don't want to say black community, but I'm gonna look for it. But it was like, we accept pedophilia more than we accept homosexuality in the black community. Father, so I ask you, do you agree with that statement or not?
Accepting pedophilia more than homosexuality?
Yeah.
No, I don't agree with that, and I'm gonna explain why. Okay, so with pedophilia, because I feel like once black people confirm that you're a pedophile, you're fucking done. You know what I'm saying? Like you're actually done. And I've seen plenty of instances where people have gotten fucked up, for their pedophilia, or once it comes out that they actually touch someone's child, they're pretty much done. So I disagree with this notion that pedophilia is somehow more accepted than homosexuality in the black community. Because I know the same black community, while there is a lot of homophobic, like narratives in the black community, just like with any community for that matter. If we're talking specifically about the black community, we've always knew people was gay. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure there was plenty of people in the church choirs that was gay, and no one really said much about it. People always knew Luther Vandross was gay. People always knew Whitney Houston had a little thing for women, and they went on to still have very successful careers. Granted, the fact that they had to be in the closet to do so, but at the same time, that didn't stop black people from loving their music, even though they knew, like, oh, this, that. They mostly really had to hide their sexualities because of like the industry in itself, and how, because they are black, if they are black and homosexual in an industry such as that, they're getting blackballed immediately. So unfortunately, there is still a lot of stigma against the black LGBT in the black community, at the very same time, to say that it is less accepted than pedophilia is just false, because you have to hide both. You know what I'm saying? Now, where they I can understand where they're coming from, because for a very long time, predators have gotten away because, oh, the mama done defended them, or the family members done known about it but don't say shit because they feel like the little boy, the little girl's lying. You know what I'm saying? Just like when we brought up Boosie the other episode, it's more acceptable for a dude getting head, for a little boy getting head, than a little girl getting head at a very young age. You know what I'm saying? And that's just the culture that was perpetuated when we was growing up, especially back in the older days. You know what I'm saying? Niggas was getting their dick sucked at like age 13 or 14, and no one was batting an eye. But as soon as the little girl have some sex at the same age, everybody ready to fight the nigga that done took her virginity or whatever. So there is a very, very, very obvious double standard when it comes to that. But to say that pedophilia is more accepted than homosexuality, nah. At most, it's more hidden than homosexuality, because if niggas found out you actually touched a child, you're fucking done. The streets gonna get you before the cops do.
Exactly. I found a Facebook post. She said homosexuality disturbs y'all more than pedophilia, and I want to know why. And now, when I looked at that, and I understand like the black community, especially the gay LGBT black community, they go through their own shit. Just like black men go through their own shit, just like straight black women go through their own shit. We all have our shit that we go to. But to me, when I looked at this, I also said, huh? And then, like, but my response was basically, look, I'm not even defending Boozy, but y'all seem to forget these two things used to be intertwined, and I'm not even talking biblically. And where I was coming from is like, in history, it's just there was basically like, maybe not in a maybe not in a black area, but history has always shown that people did not have a problem with pedophilia. For one, I brought up that like not a lot of people used to live past 40. Like that is an actual fact. There was not a lot of people that used to live around 40. So a lot of people, their wives was like 12 or 14-year olds. Pocahontas, the story Pocahontas, I know that she looked more like an adult in the Disney version, but in the actual version, she was like 12. And like grown white men was getting with her. And as far as the disco and the homosexuality, you can look back in the Roman eras. There was actually when they was like really into like uh gay sex and all that other stuff. That shit was actually like pretty common. They was fucking so much. There was actual relationships with grown men and little boys and all that other stuff. Matter of fact, Kevin Spacey was basically on trial because he assaulted a little someone that was the age of 15 or something like that, and he was on trial for that. He got off, but he was on trial for that. So it's still kind of relevant. Um, in the black community, you can tell, like I said, there was like I think Bishop Eddie Long was in before he died, his untimely death. He was in the news because they say he was touching on little boys. Like you could tell, and I'm not trying to bring up biblically, but these things do happen. So at one point, yes, it was intertwined. I don't know if you ever remember. I showed this in the Discord. There was like a 1950s video. It was like this man was a homosexual and he was preying on little boys. That's what the media back then was putting out. It was like a lot of these things used to be intertwined together because when you thought if somebody was gay, you thought they also lurked on little boys. There was a drag queen. It was like a 12-year-old drag queen, and he was going to adult shows and all that stuff, doing like new photo shoots with other drag queen men. And there was other drag queens speaking out about it because they said for the longest of times when they thought of like homosexuality, they thought of them preying on little boys. As once was in like it's been intertwined, and they're trying to get rid of that. And it's so prevalent that even now, like people that once relationship with young kids, like known pedophilians, they was once trying to put pedophilia into the LGBT community. They wanted to be another letter in the LGBT community. Now the LGBT community said, "Fuck out of here," but they wasn't. You could tell the pedophilia wasn't going after going through straight people. Like, oh, straight people need to have this type of relationship. No, because straight people, and like Father said, especially in the black community, we not accepting that shit. Let them find out you fucked a little girl. They gonna kill you. Like, especially if you go to jail for like raping a little girl or raping a little boy. Them niggas was straight up. They'll either kill you or they'll do some things that you really shouldn't be like. You shouldn't really know about. So to me, it's just like, and I'm not harping on the LGBT community, but at all. But like, history has shown like I don't want to say Black America sometimes, but even though we have, like, I've had like gave examples, but some people is just like, how can I put this? It's like it's kind of been accepted, and this now in this time of age where people are like living triple the life now, it's just not cool. It's never been cool to me, but history has shown like people was okay with it. Like no one back then, I guess, gave a fuck that Elvis's wife was like 14. Now they do, but back then they didn't. Um, Shit, I heard about Paul Mooney. They was like the whole thing about Paul Mooney. He was like, they say he touched Richard Pryor's son or like one of his sons and all that other shit. And Richard Pryor didn't know about that. I don't know. So I don't know. You got anything else to say about that, Father?
Um, I mean, you brought up some good points, but I was just gonna say that a lot of black people, like, they like to when you do actual research on homosexuality, yes, homosexuality was present in Africa and in ancient African times. However, it wasn't something that was like glorified, or wasn't something that was. It was just kind of there. You know what I mean? Like, we didn't really make a big trip out of it. We didn't kill them or nothing. They were just kind of there. Like, okay, he got some dudes over there, all right, whatever. Oh, okay, that woman and that woman are together. Some tribes, with their cultural traditions and stuff, and stuff did things that were akin to homosexuality, but you have also had to consider the context. Because when I'm thinking homosexuality, I'm thinking of romantic and sexual, attraction. You feel me? But like a lot of other people's definitions might not be the same way, or the context may differ when it comes to how we look at things in different cultural context. So yes, Africa did have homosexuality, but it wasn't like all over the place, or it wasn't like glorified. It was just there, you know.
Yeah, uh, thank you for bringing that information. I didn't know much about the African. I know you did, so like I let you have that one because but I know like as far as the Greek Romans and all that other stuff, yes, that shit was kind of like prevalent, and even some parts of Asia, like there was prevalent. There was matter of fact, like men didn't really play a lot of women's role. Like a lot of men played women's roles even back then. Like a lot of women didn't really do a lot of acting back then. Now, like they do now, so that's basically everything about that. Any last words before we move on to our next topic?
Uh, Protect your kids, and if someone's gay, look the other way.
Okay, all right. This is probably the last topic. This isn't on it, but I did want to get your opinion on it. And let me just find it. Okay, all right, I found it. All right, there was this tweet, and I don't know if you've seen this or not.